So yeah, I'm sitting in my flat in Prague right now, looking at downtown Prague out my window. Is I would put it up to the screen, but like you just can't see it the same way. You know when it's on camera versus when you're here. Like it looks much worse on camera. Like it look everything looks smaller on camera. But I'm looking at downtown Prague right now. Uh, but yeah, so I was scrolling through Instagram. Let me hear. I even pull it up for you. I was scrolling through Instagram, and of course, there's Insta thoughts, and you got to follow them because they're fucking beautiful, right? Here's another one. See, like these types of girls, right? See, and the sad part is, man, like the sad part with thoughts, especially like Instagram thoughts, because they all dumb, right? Most of them are gonna be dumb. So okay, so I titled this video like the differences in debt, in types of debt, right? Now, with the Instagram thoughts, I mean, they're doing they're doing what they do. As long as their bodies look good and and they have a halfway decent attitude and they're opening a hole, they're sucking dick or something. Some guy's gonna fuel them with money. It's just the nature of the game. But see, the bad part is, see, like these women, they're not learning anything that's going to provide them with skills after their prime is up. When that next batch of young, beautiful women come out, they're going to get pushed off to the side and be forgotten. You see, and then in the midst, and then usually what comes along with it is, well, it's time to get credit cards. It's time to, my car's on a lease or it's on a payment, or she might have bought a house or something like that, and all this money was coming in pretty much because she was a pretty young woman who was sucking dick. And then the second that's over, it very rarely ends well for them. Most of their stories end up. I ran across one story of a model who was now like well over $100,000 in like credit card debt, and she was just messed up and she was like 28, 29. And then that's when it usually happens. They start getting pushed out for the younger models. And see them, the older ones, see now they want to latch on to the last photographer or the last, journalist or the last guy who looks like he has somewhat stable career or life and is paying her attention. Now all of a sudden she's in love. And Vita Guerrera did that shit because I was following her on Instagram. I unfollowed her because I thought it was pathetic. Because Vita Guerrera, it finally hit her. Her age and her appearance, it finally began. Like she finally cannot just wake up and walk down the street in her underwear, and guys want to just give her money. You see, because those younger women who are fully clothed just look better than her now because they're younger. You see, and it's a really sad thing. Now the difference is in debt that I want to touch on. Now I'm going to go talk about other things like home loans and student loans, stuff like that. See, home loans and student loans are two completely different things, in my opinion, than credit cards. Being a dumb hoe and just buying, a bunch of clothes and shoes and stuff like that. See, because with a house loan or student loans, see, even in the worst case scenario with both, let's say you bought a house, right? And the house is just in a horrible neighborhood. It's leaking. It's just a bad house, right? And you bought the thing for 10,000. I knew a guy who did it. He bought the thing for like $10,000 to fix it up. And same thing with student loans. Let's say with student loans, you went to school for like underwater basket weaving, and you went $150,000 in debt for it. Let's just entertain these two. Now, in these two situations, you still ended up with something that you can walk away with and work with later on in life. You see, like when you bought that house, well, yeah, you bought this house, but what's to say you don't get a job, 6 months from now that you make a whole lot more money now. So now you living off somewhere else in the world, and that house is still there. So you still have a house. And there's a possibility you can still sell that house. You see what I'm saying? Like, so home, like I don't own a home, but the theory of home loan of owning a house, it makes a lot of sense. And even in the worst case situations, you still have something to work with when it's all over. You see, when the ride is over, just like with student loans, let's say you 150,000, $200,000 in debt for underwater basket weaving. Well, as long as you get a degree, now that's the important part. As long as you got the degree and you got this debt, well, yeah, you got the debt, but you have this degree. Now, the degree may be, initially useless, but if you get the walking and talking and meeting people and learn something else in life, see, just because you have a degree is going to put you up in the world, you see, and it's going to open so many more doors so you can go out there and do more things. But if you just walk around like with now, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad if you're in this situation or not, but like what I'm trying to do is explain the difference in it. Like, okay, with credit card debt, now the reality of credit card debt is unless you use that credit card to buy a house, maybe you had like a $20,000 limit on a credit card and you bought the house with 10,000 of it. Now that would be a smart move. Maybe not like the smartest move, but it would be better than, let's say you have a credit card and all the credit card debt is from buying clothes, shoes, beer, Nintendo. See that because there's nothing that you can work with after that could potentially, fix it and help you grow more. If anything, you bought this Nintendo and you're gonna sell it for half of what you paid for it. You see, nobody's ever gonna give you top dollar for that again, ever, unless you find an idiot. There are some idiots out there, but I mean, you get the point. You see what I'm trying to say? So, like I said, with student loans, it's the same thing. Like student loan, as long as you get the degree, you still leave the game with something, and that something can grow and turn into something else. Okay, but like, see these insta thoughts, man. It's sad because I mean, let's just be real. Because a woman's brain, most women's brains just are not made to think any further than 15 minutes into the future because it's a woman's nature. Her brain, in the back part of her brain, what every woman has in her head, and this is why women are usually behind when it comes to planning for the future, because in the back of every woman's mind, she's believing that there's going to be a man to take care of me because I'm going to open my legs for him. That's the reality. A man is going to help me out because I can open my legs. So I don't have to take it 100% serious. You see, men don't have that same. Well, we do if you could do the whole homosexual thing, but we don't have that same initial benefit, advantage in the world. Like these Instagram thoughts, man. I'm not gonna say her name. These Instagram thoughts, man. It's really sad to watch them because it really is. Because like right now, like they're living up, like they look beautiful. They're in heels. They're buying all the dresses and eating all whatever food they riding in or driving some of the craziest cars just because they look good. You see, and it's great for now. But like, and I've told plenty of people this. My problem with hookers and prostitutes, which that's all the Instagram thoughts are, that's how they're getting their money. Like, see, and this, okay, it's another side rant. See, when these types of women are walking around with their tits hanging out and these shoes and they're coming up with all this money, everybody knows they're hookers. Okay, everybody knows they're sucking dick to get it, and it's so it's just a ridiculous cycle. Because it'd be the same thing as like a scruffy street thug. All of a sudden he's rolling around in Lamborghinis. They know he's not doing anything respectable. It's something. It's something. It's a ride. This is what any person who has any bit of wisdom in them will look at and say, this person is on a ride right now. That's all it is. They're on a ride, and when that ride is over, they'll be forgotten, and you won't even remember their name. Unless you see a newer model of them that comes out and they remind you of that older one. But yeah, like it's sad. But yeah, back to these Insta thoughts, man. Like that is. I mean, and the reality of it is that is a woman in her prime, when she's widely desired and she knows she's pretty. That is every woman in her absolute prime. And when they're in their prime, they're not thinking about the future. They don't care. They don't care. Their brains are not wired for that. You see, because the future is, well, I'm going to sit on a dick that's going to take care of me. That's the future. You see, like, and it's just so sad to watch it, man. Like all these Instagram thoughts now give it. Okay, to be real with you, a lot of them probably don't even look like that now. A lot of them are posting old pictures or very Photoshop pictures. They don't look like that. A lot of them don't look like this now, especially if all they're doing is posting pics. Yeah, they don't look like that anymore. Most of them, it only lasts 5, max 10 years. After that, they don't have it. They don't have it anymore. Um, it, but I would like to see like the average Insta thought after it's all over, right? Like I would love to see her like really messed up. Like when the reality hits her, like I should have did something with my life other than sit in front of a camera. You see, because this whole time that they're living in their prime, like they're not actually learning anything. They're not doing anything. All they're learning how to do is to look cute to get a guy with some money to want to have sex with them. Which is like I said, that's pretty much every woman's initial prime destination. That if you were to let a woman go and just be a woman, don't tell her nothing, don't have her do anything, she would eventually gravitate back towards this area. Either have men or a man do it. You pay her attention for her body and appearance and have sex with her, and then she gets the man's resources. If you let any woman go, her initial desire is that it's just the nature of it. But see, the problem, like my thing is with the Instagram thing, it just exploded it on a whole nother level. And now it has other like many women who maybe shouldn't be doing it. It has them doing it because now women are filling their ass up with poison and plastic. They wasn't filling their breast up with it. They're filling their face up with it to try to keep up with the other women who's doing it. It's just sad, man. It really is. Like, it's just a sad, sick thing. I don't know, man. But yeah, but the different types of debt, man. Like that's the original topic. The different types of debt, like instant thought debt, is worthless. It's completely worthless debt. There's no way you'll ever get that back. Spending time with a thought, like I said, unless you just gonna buy her to be a prostitute. Other than that, you don't. I wouldn't spend time commenting on her Instagram, but I never comment on. When I do, okay, I commented on one. It was a porn star, ex porn star called Ava Devine. I commented on her because she just doesn't look good anymore, and I told her it's time to throw in a towel. Like that was the only time I commented on an Instagram model. I don't know if she ever. I don't think she ever responded. I can't remember. I don't remember what happened with that. But but yeah, she just like she's about I think like 50 now, 45 or 50 or something. And yeah, she just looks terrible. And in that world, like see, all a woman needs is like, a little bit of validation from a handful of losers. And then they'll think that they're still what they were when they were 19 and nobody's gonna really tell them anything different because I mean, why not? You might get a blowjob out of it. See, so like women, like they really stand, especially these women. They have very different, especially in the U.S. countries like beaten down feminist countries like the U.S. and U.K. Women have a very difficult time with reality because men are so thirsty and beat down in these countries that women never really know where they stand. See, like now where I am now in Europe, like these women, they're more aware of where they stand because their diets on average is much better. Their makeup is far better. Their style, their dressing style is far better than Americans and UK women. So okay, so out of every 10 women you're gonna see here, I say about at least six of them are fuckable. I say probably like seven. Seven, I mean, given proper ages, not like an 80-year-old woman, but let's say between the ages of 16 to 30. I say at least six out of every 10. And I say 7 out of 10 are at least fuckable. 3 out of 10 will be legitimately beautiful model, like should be on a runway type of thing. So here, women have that competition much more steadily in their face. So they must adapt and they must learn and they must know where they stand because guys just don't have the patience for that lazy, sloppy American woman type woman. Because like in America, okay, now in America, where I'm from in America, not counting places like New York City, like the bigger bulk of America, out of every 10 women, I'd say, okay, compared to European women, out of every 10 women, I'd say maybe 3 out of 10 are fuckable. I'm saying in comparison with European women, I say out of every 10, maybe 3 out of 10 are possibly are fuckable. Maybe, and it just depends on where you are. Where I was at, about 2 or 3 out of 10 were fuckable. I'd say point 5 would actually be like pretty beautiful. Yeah, pretty, and the rest of them are just trash. Either there's single mother trash, fat trash, stupid trash, steak and trash, completely uneducated, dumb trash. The rest of them are just garbage. So in America, since that overwhelming majority is trash, men have adjusted to liking trash in America, and they think it's completely normal. And this is how life is supposed to be, and it's not. Okay. Um, and with that being said, then the women in those countries, they end up, just kind of adjusting to, not having to compete because, hey, why? Because a man's just going to like me anyway. So they're all just fat, sloppy pigs. And if they're even a little bit, okay, in America, okay, in America, and I'm really drifting off from the main topic, but in the US, let's say, okay, in the US, what makes a woman an 8 out of 10 is this: to not be fat and to have a proportionate body, a weight proportion, the proper proportions in her body, and just take a bath. And in America, you're automatically an 8 out of 10. That's how pathetic the competition is there. That's how pathetic. That's how just sad and pathetic the competition is. Now here, to be okay, an 8 in Europe, I say a 7.5 in Europe is a 10 in the US. And the thing is, like, they walk around like that out here. Like they not dressed up to go to the mall. Like like this is how they walk. This is how they just went out the store to go pick up some pillows from the store, and they look like that. You see what I'm saying? Because they mix with Italian and French or Polish and Czech or whatever the fuck. You see what I'm saying? Like, and then they probably know 2 or 3 different languages, 4 or 5 sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then like it's just a whole other league, man. But yeah, I drifted way off topic. But yeah, different types of debt to the original topic, man. My opinion on this is this: if you gonna get into debt, okay, now there are life situations. You may lose your job, and you may need a credit card to live for a while. I'm not saying anything bad about that. But what I'm going to advise is this: if you're gonna go into debt with something that you can get something out of later. Don't go into debt over buying a pair of Air Jordans or buying up all the liquor in the store or buying up all the video games, because you will never get that back, and it's just going to be an empty hole sitting there forever unless you do something else to fill it, type of thing. If you're gonna go into debt over something that you can walk away with, like I say student. I mean, if you're going to do student loans, house loan, or invest in yourself. Like, maybe if you want to start your own business. So, okay, even if the business fails, you've learned something. You can walk away with some knowledge and be a better person, be a better man after that. Even if you started your own business and you failed horribly, you did it. You see, I'd rather you do that instead of go out there and buy up all the Air Jordans. You see, because you will. There's just nothing to get back out of Air Jordans. But yeah, sorry for the long video. Thanks.